Let's bring in our expert voice this morning, Feroze Azeez, Joint CEO Anand Rathi Wealth joins us this morning. Feroze, thank you for taking out the time and being with us for this very important conversation, because this is what a lot of investors are struggling with on a daily basis. But Feroze, to begin with, if I see someone giving a live buy this stock now, this kind of a call on social media, what's the first thing I should ask myself before acting on it?
So you have to act on it. So the person who's actually giving you any tip, advice, or even education, you have to first bifurcate into what he or she is telling you. If it's education, then does he need prices to be live? The answer is no. Which textbook do you see in a school which is telling you about what happened in the market yesterday? Finance textbooks take examples of 10 years back. So educational purpose, it is permitted by SEBI. If the regulator is saying, regulators are those guys who try and make sure that everything is functioning smoothly. That's what SEBI is, Security Exchange Board of India, has said that aap education ke alawa kuch nahi kar sakte.
Yeah.
So if a person is giving you advice, if he's flouting the rule of the cop, then taking his advice itself is scary, right? If anybody who's going to give advice, he has to be clean. He has to be very, very pro his viewer. So if you can't take care of the cop's requirement, then would I even take advice from a person who's treading a gray zone? I wouldn't. So if he's giving education or she's giving education, absorb it. But if somebody is giving you advice, that's when he needs live prices.
That's also a challenge in itself, because a lot of people are under the guise of financial educators actually doing this. Is why this kind of a repeated warning is coming in from SEBI, isn't it, Feroze? But from the perspective of a regulated institution, how worried should investors be about people using the name, credibility, or even the identity of established financial companies to make themselves appear legitimate? Because that's also something that we're witnessing increasingly, Feroze.
Yes, that is the most scary part. I received a message impersonating my own boss, Mr. Rakesh Rawal, right? Since he's the CEO of the company, I'm the joint CEO of the company. So impersonating a company or an individual who is a prominent company or a name is becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
That's one. Second, I think the buyer being aware is very important. You can't blame everything on the system. If you curtail greed in life, 99% of the problems of life are solved, especially in the area of finance, if not anything else. Please don't be greedy. Be logical and make sure your money is working for you. Nobody's saying that money needs to just relax where you log in 9 to 5 or 9 to 8 in an office. Money needs to work for you, but logically and at a rational pace. What is the rational pace? 14-15% compounding per annum is what people can do easily using a mutual fund. Now, mutual fund is so goddamn regulated, it's unbelievable. I can't even tell you how strong is SEBI with our 54 asset management companies, which are now increasing. You have 54 legitimately governed, very well governed SEBI entities, SEBI registered mutual funds. That's what I would use to compound my money at 15%. If I compound my money at 15%, even if you have a crore, even if you have 10 lakhs, it becomes 1.6 crores in 20 years. That's a lot of compounding working. So cut the greed. That's what you could do. And the regulator will do his job for sure.
It's still a wait of so many years. That's why possibly we're looking at people look at the other options, Feroze, isn't it? But Feroze, if I, as an investor, see your company's name being used by someone online, what are the options I have? So what's the safest way for me to verify whether that person is genuinely connected to you or not?
Great. So in the current world of AI, whatever a person says, to you, representing, for example, Anand Rathi Wealth Limited, you can just put it in AI. This is what one of the representatives claims to be an Anand Rathi representative. See whether this matches with the public domain communication of this company from the CEO or the joint CEO in any respectable media house. See, as a Anand Rathi Wealth, I have given my strategy, how we manage money, what are the do's and don'ts where we follow. Anybody who impersonates is not going to replicate my strategy. He's going to replicate saying that I will tell you a stock which will give you 3% every day. So if you just put it on any of these AI platforms, will tell you that Anand Rathi Wealth would never say something so ridiculous.
Speaking of Anand Rathi Wealth Limited, you just gave us a brilliant example, Feroze. I do want to ask you though, is there a gap in that sense of what you've just said? Is there a gap between a regulator knowing that an entity is registered and actually being able to control how its name, credentials or reputation is being used across social media?
See, controlling in this current world, something which is so open canvas as per technology is becoming more and more difficult. So most of us are putting right disclaimers and on our websites. That's what so far we've been able to do. We have also engaged with a few people who tell us, what do we do with this problem which seems to be ever increasing?
Okay, and very quickly, let's go back to the last announcement by SEBI. SEBI says CAS or Closing Auction System is here to stay, and it's been a big headline. Was implemented starting 3rd of August. What is CAS? How exactly is a retail investor being protected? Tell us more about that story.
Correct. See, you're absolutely right. The CAS was implemented starting 3rd August. Now, that's one of the most hottest topic in capital markets for the last couple of weeks. Firstly, a viewer needs to understand what is CAS. Very simply put, every day the markets close. There is a closing price which is arrived at. Now, the closing price could be the last traded price, which is not what the case is, because closing price is very important because mutual funds are going to calculate their total basket's value on the basis of closing price. Now, closing price is very crucial because a lot of people buy and sell mutual fund units.
Yeah.
Lot of fund managers buy and sell at those prices as index funds. So earlier they used to look at something like they used to take the last half an hour's average price. If one guy traded a share at 10 rupees, the other guy traded 12 rupees, the average was 11. They used to use this method of weighted average price. Now they changed it to an auction mechanism. Anybody who wants to buy and sell large amounts, they have to put their request to the exchange that I wish to buy. Somebody says I wish to sell. The exchange puts all of these orders in a big box and then arrives at a final price at which these transactions will take place. That
Correct.
is the closing auction system. This makes our markets far more robust for a retail participant.
Lovely. Thank you for decoding that phenomena as well, Feroze. Thank you for joining us on the Breakfast Club.